Leaving the data migration to Dastra for me really meant gaining time. So before Dastra, Hilti was using a non-dedicated solution. So we had a solution that had every features you need to have a ROPA basically, but it was not dedicated to privacy per se or not targeted at privacy professional or privacy work specifically. Therefore, it was lacking in certain numbers of comfort features that exist in Dastra and that are a bit more targeted at privacy people and that we enjoy today having. The main challenge in that previous solution for us was mostly the lack of inheritance system or master-slave system, whatever you want to call it, that would allow one to create one records, define certain content. Some of it could be modified, some of it could not be modified, and that you can deploy everywhere. Because in any company that is as big as Hilti, there are things that are defined globally. There are things that apply all the same globally, and there is little point for me to ask every country to document it entirely if I can document it from the top and deploy it everywhere for things that are fully common. The second main challenge is, as I said, it was not a dedicated solution, and so that solution was shared with other functions, and so was the administration, so adjusting it to our needs was a bit complex. When migrating to Dastra, we got all the data, pre-existing data, fully integrated into Dastra. So we did not lose any data, which was a very important point for me. The data migrated contain record of processing activities, but also anything that's needed to feed into those record of processing activities. So data subject categories, data points, vendors as processors, assets, softwares that we were already documenting. We had all of those, and those were migrating into Dastra format depending a bit on where you come from, where you go, but all of that came into the solution when migrating. For Hilti, the migration phase was a pretty relaxed and pretty easy one. We had subscribed to the data migration done by Dastra, and therefore I did not have to worry about how will that happen, how will that be done, what will be the result, and so on. We were fully supported for that from A to Z. Yes, you need to prepare your own data, make your own extract and so on, because Dastra does not have access to your solution. But after that's done, they will look at everything, they will ask you the questions. If you have questions, they will answer. It was really working in a full transparency mode on, okay, you have that column, what does it mean? You have that things, okay, this is what will happen. That was that transparency and that availability, and listening from the Dastra team was really something that I appreciated. I mentioned it earlier as well. Dastra team were really interested into knowing our structures, knowing our goal, knowing what we tried to reach, so that they could provide the advice that we need to reach those goals. So they were really happy to share their experience and know-how on, okay, we've seen what you're trying to reach, we've seen other clients try to reach that, this is how we've made it, this is the various choice you have, select the one you want, and here are the consequences of those choices. If I need to select one step that really was the most important for me in that migration moment, this was the mapping meeting. We had one meeting dedicated face-to-face over Teams, where we really went column by column on our data to say, okay, that column in your solution will be that column in Dastra. This is how it will go, this is where it will go. As you can imagine, Dastra is its own solution, and as any SaaS, whatever solution you have today will not correspond 100% with Dastra. So you have some choice to make on, okay, what goes where and how. And that session of defining exactly that what goes where, what will be the result, and what you can expect really helped relaxing on, okay, you know that nothing will be lost, you know where things will end up, you know what work you will have after, and so on. All of it is clean and clear, and we both know, okay, this is what will be done. And really that's the most important point for me in the migration. Leaving the data migration to Dastra for me really meant gaining time, because all the time they spent on doing that migration, testing it, and making sure that it works as it should and that the result is what we agreed on, is time that I could focus on questions and tasks that I consider a bit more fundamental, like what roles do you want for who, which visibility, which organizational units, how do you organize them, everything in the same workspace, not the same workspace. Like taking the time to think through what will be your structures in Dastra and how will that work for you. It was to make sure that it fits my current use case, what I know, how I use and how we work the compliance, the data protection compliance, and the future use case on what we want to achieve as well. And I'm happy to say that since I created that structures, I did not touch it again. The fact that we migrated all the existing data into Dastra had a really positive impact. It's not a stretch to say that if we had not done that, it would have been very complex to have the buy-in of the users to use Dastra, despite how how nice it looks, because it's always, you can imagine, it's always complex to say to someone, hey, you've done a great works, thank you very much, but start again from scratch when everything's already there. So the fact that we could take all the data, migrate them into Dastra, not lose a single one, and that the message was, hey, you did not lose anything. Yes, there is a bit of cleaning because not every field meet each other, but everything there, you did not lose a single thing. And you have a software that's today a bit more adapted to what you are supposed to do, that is tailored for privacy work, easier to deal with, help me drive the buy-in and the user adoption pretty nicely. I would say go for it. It's made for that. They have experience, Dastra team have experience in doing those migration. Yes, it's a painful moment to have to extract all your data, look at your data, prepare them, because you need to prepare them. They don't know what's in there unless you tell them. But really the gain in terms of time, in terms of user adoption drive, in terms of focusing on those more fundamental questions on how do you want it to be structured, what do you want in Dastra, who should have access to what, and all those more fundamental questions is for me an invaluable gain. That's really where your energy should be, not on which column goes where, blah, blah, blah. Let an expert that done that several times do it, that's made for it.
Quality base.